events today at OurCrowd. Now, I have to tell you, I do go to a lot of events, connect with a lot of people, a lot. However, OurCrowd is my favorite event. The OurCrowd Summit takes place once a year, and it's where investors from all over the world come to meet with Israeli startups. So this is just one of the most energized, innovative, forward-thinking moments that anyone can step into when you step into the OurCrowd event. In fact, on my way over to the event, I actually had to run a quick errand. So I ran the errand real quick this morning, and I ran into two men from Mexico that were walking over to the event. So I showed them where it was, and we got to talking about what they're doing in Mexico. Between Mexico, they were a group of investors from Mexico joining forces with Israeli startups here, tech startups. However, they are also working on a project in Aventura, Florida. How cool is that, huh? So we talked about that. I got their card, and we're going to be in touch regarding some very cool projects, potential projects happening in Florida. So that was a very, very cool moment this morning. So the two key words that were at the OurCrowd event today, and once again, for those of you not familiar with what the OurCrowd event is, it's an event that was started by a man named John Medved when he had a concept, an idea that today is unbelievable. And so this concept actually connects investors with startups in every phase, from the beginning seed stage of a startup to the growth phase, to the exit phase, which is when a startup gets bought out. Well, in fact, of all the things I didn't know, I wish I would have been on top of this. Beyond Meat. I don't know if you've ever had the Beyond Burger. It's absolutely incredible. You can buy it now in Target and Whole Foods in Florida. It's called Beyond Meat. It's just delicious. It's nutritious, packed with protein. But last year they had the Beyond Burger at the OurCrowd. They had that available for lunch. I think 2,500 burgers were eaten during that time period. Well, when Beyond Burger became part of the market, I think the share was $11. And I don't know how many years ago that was. I really don't. But I can tell you today that Beyond Burger's shares on the stock market are somewhere between $100 and $110. So there you go, folks. And so this is what happens at the OurCrowd. There's a lot of education, there's teaching, there's breakout sessions. You get to meet the startups, you get to meet the investors. It's a lot of one-on-one meetings that go on at this conference between investors and startups. Plus there's, all the startups are able to have little booths, and you get to meet them, and you get to know the companies that you're investing in. Just an excellent, excellent program. So that's OurCrowd. So I was there all day today, and I want to just bring to you some highlights. The theme this year was startups, going beyond. And I thought, we're coming into a decade of destiny, which was highlighted over and over and over again at this conference today. One of the things that was very, very notable is that they were not looking at what's going on in 2020. They were looking and envisioning a 10-year period. And that's exactly how I started from 5780 when we had the Jewish New Year last year to the New Year this year. I have been thinking 10 years out, envisioning 10 years out, And I think that this was so pronounced today, this 10-year vision. And they were looking at the fact that we're driving not only a new decade, but we are actually on the precipice of what is known as the fourth industrial revolution. So you have to understand that every industrial revolution has brought with it massive change, quick change. Now, of course, much quicker today because of changes in technology than it was in the beginning. But the Industrial Revolutions brought the light bulb, the train, transportation changes. And we're going to see massive transportation changes in the next 10 years. We are going to see flying cars. By the end of this 10-year decade, we are going to see flying cars. And so there are going to be some massive changes. We're going to see massive public transportation changes over the next 10 years. There are just things that are going to take us beyond our comfort zone, and we are going to go beyond what we know traditionally. And I think it's so important that we understand and are positioned to know how to integrate these, to integrate the past, the present, and to integrate that with future vision, and also to really start getting a vision that will challenge us and take us beyond the status quo. We have a joke right now because of immigration, migration, immigration. Everyone wants to come to America. And I always say, and people say, well, that's a no-brainer, Cam. I say, everyone can't come to America. We cannot physically fit the entire world in America, but we can take America to them. We can take the American dream out. It requires innovation, forward thinking. It requires thinking and rooted in the right value system. And so very, very important that we understand that we may not be able to bring the world to America, but we sure can bring America to the world. So this is kind of where we were today with the OurCrowd event. The key words, there were two really key words with the OurCrowd event today, and that was disruption and beyond. All right, disruption and beyond. And right now, we are dealing with a lot of disruption in technology, things that were status quo for so long. The iPhone was disruptive. The iPhone changed everything. Once there was a smartphone available, you could take an instant image, you could tell a story without context, all right, just by a picture. You could start to communicate all the way around the globe just from the phone. You could see each other, you could talk to each other. That was disruptive technology. Disrupted the status quo of communications completely. All right, so we've got a lot of disruptive technology going on, and I'll be talking about some of that in just a minute. All right, so the other key word today was beyond, going beyond. We talked about going beyond in the realm of agriculture. A company was highlighted today named CropX. That was the ability to get real-time readings of the soil, of how much water it needs, what's happening with the crops, concerning the weather. All real time. You do a little test, it comes right out on your phone, it gives you the statistics. It was really rocking. All right, well, that's disruptive. You might think, well, it's different. It allows the farmer more time freedom, more real-time data than he's ever been able to get on his own. Today I talked with a company that is going beyond in aviation. Oh my God, this was so cool. It's been tested now with El Al, being tested with Ben Gurion. This is a database of analysis that will help airlines and hubs, all right, save millions, if not billions of dollars just by being able to keep flights on time. Most of the flights that are not on time are not because of it. If you travel a lot, you know this is true. It's not because of the weather, mostly because of the problems in the coordination of services. All right, like, you've got your food services, the planes have to be checked over mechanically, they have to be fuel services. I mean, you have all these different baggage, okay, all of these different components that make up a flight. And so this company has created an app and created a brilliant AI digital analysis that will absolutely transform and really help streamline the services and the airlines to save them a ton of money and show them how they coordinated efforts to keep flights on time. It was brilliant. I talked to also another organization. It was really incredible. It's called Empower Africa Business Network. What they're doing with Africa is just staggering, really, really cool. We also looked at going beyond in banking, where they are now creating a banking system for the unbanked. This is for the areas that are of low income, third world countries, people that have no banking system. And then we have going beyond in education. This was absolutely brilliant because it is an AI learning system. I think it was called MagnaLearn. And what they did is they tested this AI learning program on over 2,000 Brazilians to teach them English. And it had such a high success rate. And it really helped the children to get a handle on English while they were living in Brazil. All right, and I have friends in South Florida, quite a few friends in the Brazilian community, and one of my friends, Daniel Gomez, he came to South Florida. He could not speak a word of English. Now he is fluent. I mean, it's just amazing. He now has a wife, family, an amazing man. But he couldn't speak any English. And here is a new AI system that will improve, all right, the quality of education for our children. And in South Florida, we have so many children that are from South America that this is going to be a game changer, because if we can improve their English, we are going to be able to improve the quality of their education immensely. So this is really a game changer. I loved it. We are going beyond in education. Going beyond in the environment. This was absolutely key. I know we're looking at climate change issues, how we can improve the environment. Some of it is politically driven. Some of it is something we have to take and consider. So when we're looking at the going beyond today, we looked at industrial waste that's being used for animal feed. That was pretty cool. We are looking at companies that are creating ways to create biofuel. So you take your own waste, all your fruits, like a compost pile in your backyard, and when that compost pile is crushed, it actually becomes gas. You can have gas burners fueled by your own kitchen waste. I mean, so this is the biogas fuels, and so we're going beyond in the environment to get rid of all these chemicals that are destroying the health of so many people. I just really, really like environmental issues. And then we're going to go beyond in medicine, and that was really cool because Miami, Florida was highlighted today because we are going to be the very first hospital, and it's the Children's Hospital in Miami that is going to carry the OLO, which is a new way to take blood. And what you do is you do a prick of the finger, and then the blood from the finger prick is actually inserted into the machine, and within 10 minutes you get a complete blood printout. So no longer do you have to schedule another appointment to come back and hear from the doctor, but you're going to be able to get your blood taken in real time. You're going to get the results in real time, and in one doctor's visit, you are going to be able to not only get your diagnosis, but also your treatment. So very powerful, and this is happening in Miami, Florida. We are the first. Brilliant. All right, we're going to go beyond in the issue of money. Now, it's an idea that I have been thinking a lot about in the realm of capitalism, venture capitalism. And it was discussed so much today because venture capitalism, without the human and social responsibility element, has fueled some real corruption issues that have been highlighted in America. And, you know, the pluses of venture capitalism have been really in the background in light of the issues with Wall Street and people being paid astronomical amounts of money, but they're not taking care of or being socially responsible. And, you know, in God's laws, all right, He has set everything up in such a way that every need is met. Now, not equitably in the way that, you know, socialism or communism wants equity. That's not real equity. Everybody's been given talents, some 10, some 5, some 2, some 1. Everybody has talents. You can do what you want with your talents. That is the whole purpose of even the American dream, is that you can become, you can utilize your talents, you can grow in your skill sets, you can envision your future, and you can make it happen. That is the essence of the American dream. But that's the essence of the way God created you in His image, to create and to become and to be. And so when we look at innovation, when we look at venture capitalism, and in looking at it today, one of the things that was so prevalent at the OurCrowd Summit was the very fact that we are integrating venture capitalism with social responsibility and corporate vision. And this is so, so important in really driving the right kind of equitable solutions for people, societies, and nations in the earth today. So it was just very, very powerful. And also, there were 2 companies that were going beyond, and I just wanted to highlight them. One was Toyota. We've got a new car. It's going to be launched in Japan this summer. It's called LQ. It is an AI car. Be on the lookout. This is a pretty cool deal. And then PepsiCo was, they had a pretty cool commercial too. PepsiCo, huge company. We all know that. Mega corporation. They came on the stage with concept technology and solutions, and what they did is they're the big company, but what they are doing now is they are joining hands with startups, small companies. And so they said that to go beyond ourselves, in other words, if we're going to drive the future of Peps, you know, this is Pepsi-Cola, folks, okay? PepsiCo. All right, if we're going to drive the future, our competition is not going to be Coca-Cola. Our competition is going to be what's driving startups. It's going to be the startups. And so what are we going to do? We are going to join hands with the startup. Very, very powerful. With that, that reminded me, I think that was my key phrase of the day. We had key words, disruption and beyond. We had key phrases, the 4th Industrial Revolution. But I think what captured me the most was probably one of the most brilliant observations, and that is that often companies look at other companies doing the same thing as their competitors. but that's changed. When we talk about disruption, even the way we view competition is disruptive today. And so today, the real competitors of large companies is not the other guy. It is the startup. And so I thought that was just so brilliant, something that not only I believe I have seen. So that's my wrap up on OurCrowd today. And I also had the opportunity to have a very brief conversation about bringing some of this to South Florida. So let's see if we can do that in the future as well.